This is Carmel Bear, and you're listening to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix.
Short and sweet, just like Carmel Bear himself. What's going on, everybody? It is November 2nd, 2021. Boy, can't believe it's November already, Josh. It is podcast number 86, the 16th show of our 4th season. I'm excited for it. All the fans out there are excited for it. These are happy days, Josh. Let's be happy, huh, pal? Walters?
Sure.
Welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix with your lovely hostesses, Garlic Johnson.
We're going to need to take a break here while I change my pants.
And Josh Mitchell.
Sitting here undefeated in everything I do, except fantasy football. No, I'm not allowed to handle crayons.
Not after last time.
Not after last time.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Garlic and Josh.
Thank you, Walters. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I'm one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. We are joined, as always, by your other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Daddy Mitchell, say hi to the folks out there, pal.
Hi, folks.
Wow, you can definitely hear the dad in his voice. You can hear the mental distress. Join our Discord if you'd like to chit and chat with us all the live long day, 7 days a week. You can leave us voicemails either for the Fave Favre or whatever else you got at anchor.fm/hoodpod. Or if you'd like to kick it old school, you can hit us up at our email, hiddenoaksoverdose@gmail.com. We got an email this week, Josh. I'm so excited. You can find out more about us and our league of record at hiddenoaksoverdose.com. Josh has been making that purdy. What's the latest thing you've done to that website, Josh? What's the latest and greatest?
Nothing really. Not since the season started. Been focusing on the pod, making sure it's an A+ quality product.
Amen. That's what you love to hear, brother. We're going to give you a raise from 0 to 0. Segment start times are down in the description below per usual. Thank you, Levi Oki, for providing us all the beautiful art you have over all these years. You can see his work and reach out to him with his Instagram handle at Levi Oki Illustration. Josh, how we doing, pal?
Well, I'm here, aren't I?
I mean, yeah. I'll be honest. You have surprised me a bit. Not that you were being inconsistent with your words, but I just assumed when someone had a kid, maybe they'd want to take a step back from the podcast for a bit. But you're a full what? 3? No, was it last Monday night?
5 days.
Thursday night. You're 5 days into daddom. How? I mean, maybe it's the podcast your only break from the kids, so that's why you can't stop. Now we're going to be doing 3-hour pods or what?
No, he's out mowing the lawn right now. So it's been going pretty smooth. So yeah, we're working on kind of taxes and stuff, so he knows what to do when February comes, and he should be getting those W-2s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no, overall, sleep is one of those things that doesn't exist. It's been a lie our entire lives, and it will always continue to be a lie. And so we are living in a simulation, and the Matrix was not wrong. And so, Carmel, other dads out there, you guys can agree. This having a child is like being unplugged and taking that red pill in the Matrix.
Oh boy, Josh's full-blown red pill. There's lots of internet communities that would welcome you with open arms, Josh. But I don't go on Facebook very often. I've assumed you've announced the name and all this and that. So if I'm not going to dox your kid here.
Yeah, no, everybody should know unless they can't read.
So Asher, where are we at on the pyramid of greatness?
I actually had to contact Mr. Swanson to create a new one, a larger one, so he could keep rising.
Excellent.
I tried giving him skim milk and he flicked me off, so it worked out well. But no, it's going well. He's a very chill individual. There's nothing more giggle worthy than being half tired and hearing a shotgun blast of a fart come from your infant son that weighs 8.5 pounds. So,
Christ.
But he sleeps for the most part. Hoping that continues. He eats well. Only whines when he's hungry and needs a diaper change, so he's living the life.
Amen, brother. Are we not taking the stakes well done yet? Hopefully those things are still moving for Asher.
Oh, yeah. No, like he's able to kill, or like he's able to eat anything before he can kill it, you know? He needs to earn his meat.
Excellent. All right. Well, congrats. congrats to Josh and Nikita. I forgot your wife's name for a second there. That's not good. Don't tell her that. I should probably cut that out of the recording as well. But yeah, big congrats. Welcome to Daddom, and it should be exciting times ahead. We can keep her moving though, Josh. We can go ahead and go into the FanTASTY zone.
Well, how are you doing?
Oh, you're gonna ask after all. I'm going good. I'm excited to see the Eternals on Thursday. I just got a new book called Attached by Dr. Amir Levine and Rachel Heller, so I'm excited to read that book. But no, I'm doing good. I definitely didn't have a kid, so I think there's more going on in your life than mine.
I wouldn't be so sure. You're my source for the outside news. So
there you go. All right, well, let's keep her moving, Josh. The FanTASTY zone. Who brings us the FanTASTY zone, Josh? Skybusters. Thank you, Skybusters. Shout out, Josh. You eating or munch? All right, you munching or drinking anything over there, pal?
Yeah, I've got some Nerds gummy clusters because somebody was genius enough to put the perfect amount of Nerds on the perfect size gummy, so it's just all in one yummy bite. And then I've got a Captain Coke.
Excellent. Well, I've got over here, I don't know if it's the name of the company or the name of the thing I'm holding, but it's called Pure Organic. It's a layered fruit bar. I don't know. I saw a box of them at fucking Costco when I was there. And so I've got a strawberry banana one, and I've got a pineapple passion fruit one. So think about like a fruit roll-up, minus the roll, minus the fun, minus the taste. And that's exactly what this Pure Organic layered fruit bar is. And then, of course, we've got the old Arnie himself. All right, Josh. We heard from a senior correspondent. I know they've been pretty quiet this year. At least, we heard it from a lot of them at the draft, but they've been pretty quiet since the season started. But, Bears fans think they're on the up and coming, and Burt McStuffins is, he's not going to let the limelight pass him by. Burt McStuffins is going to take every opportunity he can. So without further ado, let's hear from our Bears senior correspondent, Burt 85 McStuffins.
Hey there, Garlic. This is Burt 85 McStuffins, your Bears beat reporter. It's been a turbulent 4 or 5 weeks or so since we last talked. We spanked the Lions, but that doesn't matter because Jared Goff is a little pansy boy and they suck balls. But we just gave the 49ers a pretty good run. Jimmy Garoppolo's apparently a runner now, and our defense doesn't know how to fucking stop a 6'4", 210-pound string bean. But I guess he's learned that trick. But on the real, Justin Fields looks fantastic. Don't know what laser was smoking last game in order to make those play calls to get that man running, but I hope he keeps smoking it. 170 in the air, 100 on the ground. That's the kind of stat line we need. We get our defense short up. They learn to pull their pants up and stop an actual run game. We're in shape. We're looking good. I know the record doesn't say it, but hey, go Bears. Go Bears all the way.
Go Bears all the way. Josh, did you drop Justin Fields in fantasy too early? Is he finally about to hit his peak?
I mean, his peak is still like Sam Darnold on the Jets, so we'll be fine with that drop.
Do you think the Bears will squeak out second in the division?
Probably, but 5 wins still isn't that much.
That's true. Well, thank you. Big shout out to Burt McStuffins. I'm sure we'll check in on the Bears a couple more times this season. He seems very enthusiastic about talking to us, so we'll see how things go for the old Bears and the Burt. We had a couple things going on in the Discord this week, Josh. Gridiron discussion topics. We talked about fandom too seriously, whether people are just taking the Vikings losses too seriously and how bad they want Zim fired. We talked about balancing fantasy teams and fantasy players and this and that. And then just today, of course, there's a little trade talk because it was the NFL trade deadline. Do you learn anything or anything stand out to you from these talks, or perspectives changed, or do you just hate everyone in our Discord for their awful takes, or what? How are we feeling about the Gridiron gossip?
Yes.
All the above?
Yes. No, I agree. Fandom can be taken too seriously at times. Yes, I've lost sleep over some games, but most of it's just the adrenaline coming down. It's not because I'm sitting there wiping the tears away after a loss. fantasy balance when it comes to like the PPR and stuff. I've always been a fan of the PPR. I like the tiered PPR that we've got going in Sleeper, despite the record that I have with it. And but I do think that it adds a little bit more of a diverse player profile. So you have to do a little bit more looking around, that sort of thing. Trades. I'm surprised we didn't see any more big trades. The Rams must literally just be having monopoly money sent in to whoever takes care of that sort of thing. But they seem to be able to acquire anybody and everybody.
I do believe that part of the trade was that the Broncos were going to pay a hefty amount of Von Miller's contract, at least for this year. I thought it was like $9 million or something. So I don't know how much Von Miller's making this year, but $9 million obviously is a nice chunk of change.
Yep. But then back to the fandom thing. So when does Walters start his instead of leave Brittany alone, it's like leave Zimmer alone, but it's like the reverse. So we need to get rid of Zimmer, and he has it, under his sheets with the light. He's crying.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Walters is already organizing marches on the Capitol. Maybe he's gonna hook up with Brad. Because Brad does, I believe, I don't know if he does lawn work, but does the snow removal over at TCO. So maybe he's going to have Brad get him in, and he's going to start his own picket line right there at the training center, get in Zimmer's face, this and that. Maybe throw a snowball at him when the snow starts falling. So I would assume the Walters Takedown Zimmer organization is already well underway. And I'm surprised you haven't got your phone call yet.
Yeah, it must be because I block spam calls.
Oh, no. But yeah, I mean,
I don't think there was anything else in the gridiron gossip besides those things. How do you feel about it all?
I mean, it's just I do it to myself, and the reason I ask the question is because Josh, I can't help myself. I sit there and I doom scroll all the low football IQ people in the Vikings subreddit, and it just hurts my brain. And I really should stop doing it. But it's just you see the people in there, and they just have the dumbest takes. Like, I'm not saying Zimmer shouldn't be fired at this point, but it's just all their reasoning and their logic and this and that. It hurts my brain. For the fantasy balance, I guess the only thing I was thinking about is I think at one point Al had talked about like why do you need to balance things or what needs changing. I mean, the fantasy game is always being balanced. I mean, I'm in a fantasy league where the quarterback still gets 1 point every 10 yards, and so the QBs are the position supreme, and obviously the standard these days is 25 yards a point. So I mean, the game has evolved with the fantasy game has evolved with the real game. And it's been tweaked over time just to, balance things out for parity or this or that. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just always looking for opportunities to keep the positions together, change strategies, this and that. And then,
Al's over here saying, keep your change, pal.
I mean, are you still, I don't know if it still exists, but you're in that fantasy league, or your dad is, where you literally only get points from touchdowns, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not in it. My dad is no longer in it since they're in Mississippi and stuff. Just too much work for that. But that league still exists. They showed me the records that they have. They literally had to mail in their lineups back in the day. And, if players weren't playing or, last minute scratches, whoops. So it was before the days of email and things. So that was kind of fun to see.
Sure. No, I mean, my point was, though, that the fantasy game itself has changed and evolved and rebalanced things. Like, obviously, you're not going to go for just touchdowns. You're not going to give QBs fucking 50 points a game, which I'm taking full advantage of in the Flea Flicker League I'm in right now. But, yeah, I don't know. There's different conversations to be had about how to balance fantasy or how much you want to do with this and that, and I'm fine with whatever. I prefer leagues that are different anyway, so we'll keep her moving, though. Oh, well, you got your massive polls, Josh. I don't think you've posted a new one, but there was a minimal amount of discussion. We were able to wring out some discussion from the folks today. Let's talk about your last poll and what the people were saying.
Yeah, it seems people are finally catching on that Brett Favre, O.J. Simpson, and Randy Moss are the ultimate trio. And so the discussion that we've had was from Dave69, O.J. Favre and Randy are a party. Who wouldn't want to come play with them? Thank you for your contribution. Eric's K. Who is O.J. Simpson? That is O.J. Simpson, but he had to use an alias in order to stay in the not guilty party. And then Jesse, Jesse being Jesse, probably put the only 3 words he knows in the English language. Favre, enough said. He even spelled one of them wrong, but he tried.
A for effort. And then, so what were the results of the poll?
5 people said Brett Favre, O.J. Simpson, and Randy Moss would be their trio. 2 said Steve Young, Adrian Peterson, and Devontae Adams. 2 said Patty Mahomes, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Marvin Harrison. And then 2 said Peyton Manning, Dalvin Cook, and Terrell Owens.
All right. And so will there be a poll by the end of the show or before football starts going? Should the folks be looking for a new poll, or are we just going to let that one sit there?
Yeah, we'll let that one sit there for a little bit. I might add another one here. I need to figure out how to write wordings and things again. So I'm relearning things from scratch as I'm trying to get back to those college days of sleep deprivation.
Rock on. All right. Well, Brian, ever anxious. He didn't want us to forget. It's been a while since Brian emailed us. But before we end the FanTASTY Zone, a staple of the FanTASTY Zone is a good old email from Brian. Don't forget you can email us at hiddenokesoverdose@gmail.com. But Josh, I have it already pulled up in front of me. I don't know if you would have preemptively pulled it up or not. But do you want the honor of reading Brian's first email in a while, or should I take her?
Sure, I have it.
All right, hold on.
Mid-season-
Hold on.
You've got mail.
Proceed.
Mid-season update. Hi, guys. Haven't written in a while. Been exploring nature. Still listening to the Hoodcast every week, though. Some observations. You guys are solid. Very impressed with how far you've come since starting this. Kuddos. You guys have not improved in your prognostications. Several times I have taken your advice and changed the lineup based on who your boom or bust players were. Strategy for the two of you? Yes. Number 4 is a psycho B word from HE double hockey sticks. I have a newborn infant son in the room, so I can't read that line.
Psycho bitch from hell.
Lesson to be learned. If someone tells you they are a drug addict, believe them. Don't try to reform them and run. Lasted 9 months. Finally, a sincere congrats to Josh and Nikita. Nothing better than starting a family until they turn 14. Love the Grum, Brian. Now my question is, Brian, what did Brad do when he turned 14?
I mean, don't forget, Brian has one other kid. Brian has a daughter as well, so maybe it was Dana, but...
Oh, come on now, girl. Let's be realistic.
Brad was awful by the time he turned 5, so at 14, I don't know if Brian was just an absent father or what, but Brad was awful, when he was talking.
That's true. All right.
There's a lot to unpack here, though. I mean, he's starting to rank his wives. We got number 4 in there. Brian's out here selling our state secrets about whether or not we're actually giving good fantasy advice for our own benefit. I mean, Brian, it's been a while, but he came in with the hard-hitting email, and I love it.
Yeah. And that was the Hidden Oaks original FanTASTY Zone, brought to us by Pew 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 Skybusters.
Hell yeah, Josh. Well, we'll keep her flying here. We're going back to Gar's Grinder. Gar's Grinder is back. The fans voted for it. I think enough time has passed. The 24-hour news cycle has cycled enough times that people have already forgotten about John Gruden's discretions. We're back to Gar's Grinder, and Gar's Grinder this week, legitimately, like this isn't a joke, legitimately, Cooper Rush did look good on Sunday night. Dude had 40 passing attempts in his first start, 24 completions, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the kid had ice in his veins. If you were watching that game, you saw that Zimmer definitely took out the classic rookie strategy the classic playing a rookie strategy of blitzing them a lot, trying to get in their face, let them feel the pressure, let them make mistakes. And Cooper Rush did not flinch. He sat there, he stared Everson down, Michael Pierce, Dalvin Tomlinson, Daniil Hunter before he went down. He was looking him in the eyes and he said, "Fucking bring it on." And so Cooper Rush had ice in his veins. He did not balk to the pressure. He was able to make the completions he needed to. We were able to shut down Zeke. We were not able to shut down Cooper Rush. So Gar's Grinder from last week, week 8, is going to be Cooper Rush. Shout out to him.
Some say that he even flustered Zimmer, caused Zimmer to call 2 timeouts back to back.
Zimmer was indeed flim-flammed. Let's move on, though, Josh, to the podcast play-along, huh? We did it, Josh. We finally fucking did it. I've been hoping for it all season long. It only took us 8 weeks to get her done. We got the all-women top 3. Shout out to Jesse. Jesse's in here listening. I don't know if Elena's with him or not, but number 1 from contest number 8 was Happy Camper 07, a.k.a. Elena Camp with the 139.36, and second place was the Just Birthing a Child Nikita with the 135.66, and then a good friend of mine, Brianna, she's Go Sports. She got a 125.1. The all-women top 3 happened, and I hope we see a lot more this season. But I'll be honest, I don't know if it was going to happen, Josh, just because you never know. There's a lot of luck involved, but it happened 1 week after we had our first woman in first place. So I guess when it rains, it pours, so to speak.
Very nice.
Did Nikita feel good about it? Does she think she's going to play better or worse now that the child is outside of her versus inside of her?
You know, I guess I didn't talk to her about it, but she did say on Sunday when we were watching the games, she's like, oh, I forgot to check this after I said it on Tuesday, which makes sense since you're in the hospital Wednesday through Sunday, or Saturday. But yeah, she ended up getting second, which was great. And so good job, Nikita.
Good
Standings
job.
haven't changed a whole lot, except we have a new number 2. Big Cushy Man is still first with 742.58. Happy Camper Elena is 690.52 in second, and then Lucky Hamber is 688.4 for third.
Yeah, so Elena takes her 140, or pretty much 140, smashes right up into second place, knocks Hammer down to third, and knocks Carmel Bear's future brother-in-law Cody out of the top 3. So, 390, she's only got 2 points on Hammer in third there, but she puts together a couple of more good performances, and she could be sniffing on David's back door, if you know what I mean. No, but shout out to Elena for cracking the top 3. She's currently in the money. Josh, do we stink at picking studs and duds or what?
Let's go back here. I've hit on every single one except for this one and the one before.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. Al.
All right, well, last week I had a Cincinnati tight end CJ Uzomah. He was worth a 57 hunch versus the Jets. That game turned into a shootout somehow, and he still couldn't do much. He had 5.3 points. Not bad for a tight end. Tight ends are historically pretty tough, but it's not even. He didn't even get to 1 times his value based on his cost. So definitely not a stud. What about you, Josh?
I had Alvin Kamara as a dud. He cost you 84 hunch. They're going up against Tampa Bay. He ended up putting up 15.1 points with a 1.8 times value. I don't know. I wouldn't call him a dud, but I wouldn't call him a stud. He was just kind of right around that, yeah, okay, I can live with it range.
Yeah, you usually expect more than 15 from Alvin Kamara, so probably a dud to his standards, I'd say. Who you got this week, Josh? Who is Brian going to put in his lineup just for you?
Well, I went ahead and I'm going with a different strategy here, one that I probably should have started the season with. I went and I looked at who I'm going against in Dynasty and picked one of their players. So I am going to say Zach Moss, running back for Buffalo, with $6,000. He's playing Jacksonville, is going to be a stud. Minimum 3 touchdown game.
Minimum 3 touchdowns from Zach Moss, Brian. Are you listening? Minimum. This week, Brian, I've got another bona fide stud for you as well. If this guy's not in all your lineups, you are sorely missing out. My stud, I'm calling him a stud, this week is going to be Brandon Cooks, wide receiver out of Houston. He's going for a lean, mean 68 hunch, so a nice, not quite in the bargain bin, but, a decent price. They're going against Miami, who has not been good this year. Looks like old Tyrod Taylor might be back in action. I think Brandon Cooks puts up 50 points this week. So Brian, it's if you don't have him in a league, I'd trade for him, and if he's not in your FanDuel lineup, you're a sucker. So Brandon Cooks, wide receiver out of Houston, is going to be my stud for FanDuel this week. Josh, let's go ahead and let's hear about your little your joker of the week.
There's a lot of low hanging fruit. I could have picked on Zim. I could have picked on a lot of different people for just being a joke of the week. AJ Green, he's got memes coming out because his controller disconnected mid-play. We've got a lot of other things out going. Like I said, the Zim 2 timeouts. I'm just going to go ahead and throw out just a general joker of the week. Are teams that had to go up against backup quarterbacks. So we've got the Vikings, Bucks, and Bengals. All 3 of them lost to backup quarterbacks. One of them with Mike White. That was the Jets quarterback. Went up against the Bengals, beat them. Nobody even knows who he is. I put him in at my tank team for Dynasty and deflate these balls, expecting a -7 score. He ended up putting up 25, and I almost won because of it. And And then you got the Bucks, who had Trevor Siemian, who's been in the league for a bit. He came in after what's his nuts got hurt, and he outplayed Tom Brady. No, but really, they won, and it just goes to show that he's making magic out there. I don't know if you saw this, Gar, but Kevin White had a catch in that game from Trevor Siemian. So it's like, is Brady done?
I think so. And
then you already talked about Cooper Rush, but honestly, we could have all seen that coming.
Oh yeah.
You predicted it, so.
It's the gingivitis, man. It's those ginger quarterbacks. Zimmer just he doesn't like him. He's scared of him. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. Anything without a soul shouldn't be able to throw a football.
Amen, brother. That's that old school brimstone out of Zim. But let's keep moving here to the Hidden Oaks highlights. Josh, what do you say, pal? Week 8, we had a little side bet, a little Gronk. I probably shouldn't call it the Gronk Memorial. Gronk's in the league right now. He's playing. But it was the Gronk challenge. It was the tight end with the closest to 69 yards over or under. A nice 69. And fucking Jeremy, Mr. Pribbernow himself, he almost hit it right on the nuts. He had Dan Arnold with 68 yards, brother. It was close.
Yeah. We had a blowout last week, not from my son's diaper. And it was Project Parsons over Kareem Rises. 99 point. I was looking at our.
Sorry.
We should be ashamed of ourselves. Literally 99.45 to 54.6.
I mean,
I had a lot of people that were either on bye or COVID list, and it was disgusting. But I just want to go ahead and point out that even though I played my flex, was a Thursday night guy, didn't even know, can't spell his name, Equinemius St. Brown, he outscored your flex. Neener.
Josh, I had the third lowest score in our league, the third or fourth lowest score in our league, and I had the blowout of the week. Tell me what that says about you, pal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, we fucking got him.
Well, wins, losses were equal. So what does that say about stop making fun of me?
Yeah, we had a nail biter as well, Josh. And it was the Skybusters himself. A lot of Skybuster mentions today because he's so great. He barely beat the worst team in the league by 10,000 miles. Catch 22, a.k.a. Hammer, 117.55 to 115.5. So Brian scratched away with just a 2.05 margin of victory. It was close, Brian. I thought you were supposed to be good. You're barely beating the guy who's 1-7. Again, Hammer, don't forget, if you change your team name, you'll be able to turn things around. But if you stay catch 22, you're going to stay at the bottom. So, Josh, it looks like we got your lows and your highs week next. It looks like you got about 95% of the way done, and then you just quit. But, it still looks pretty good.
Yeah, because there were still a couple kickers that could go last night, and I completely spaced off the high for the kicker. And I might not have even looked at the scores to see if anybody changed, so we'll just pretend I did. And so going from the lows, we've got Matt Ryan at quarterback with 7.6 points. Running backs, David Johnson and Kenneth Gainwell with 1.3 and 2.7 points, respectively. Justin Jefferson with a pathetic outing and 4.1 points. Cortland Sutton was another wide receiver with only 6 points. Mo Alley Cox, tight end, stood for the Colts, 0 points. Flex Emmanuel Sanders, 0 points.
Oh, wait.
Defense.
Did I have two players on this lowest team with 0 points and still have the biggest blowout against you of the week? Ooh.
Yeah, well, going into the Bears defense, which I played because apparently they're trying to shore things up according to Burt McButtons or whatever his name is.
Josh, easy, pal.
They got me -6. That 6 points definitely would have made the difference, inspired the rest of my team to play better. And then for lows in the kicker, we had Boswell and Prater with 3. In the highs, which is where you got your win, we had Josh Allen with 32. Michael Carter, I believe, the running back with 32.2 for Hammer. Joe Mixon, 25.1. And the wide receivers, Brown and Godwin. That's A.J. Brown. And then Chris Godwin with 31.5 and 28. T.J. Hawkesaki was the tight end with 18.9. And then Michael Pittman in the flex with 30.6. The high defense was Denver with 16. And then for kickers, I'm just going to go ahead and guess kicker high score 15. Name unknown.
We'll say it was Greg Joseph. Why not?
Yeah, sure. But yeah, so that is the highs and lows for this week. As Garlic mentioned, he had 2 players with 0, and he still blew me out. But, it's whatever. I like to look forward on to next week.
Who do you play? Who do you play next week, Josh?
I don't even care. I lost because literally the only running back on my team that is playing is David Johnson. So I quit.
Well, I'll look forward to week 9, Josh. Week 9, Parib won the side bet, like I already said. So I got to send Parib $5. But anyways, the side bet for week 9 is Glorious TDs, the team with the most offensive touchdowns. So doesn't matter. I know it is offending, but it doesn't matter if the Buffalo defense, whoever's got them, doesn't matter if they put up 3 tutters against fucking Miami or the Jets or whoever they're playing. It's going to be only offensive touchdowns. And then what should be the tiebreaker, Josh? Because this one could be tied. What should we do for a tiebreaker for Glorious TDs?
Defensive touchdowns, and if not, then bench touchdowns.
There you go. I like it. Keeping it simple. We got Jesse D touchdowns as well. Jesse likes it too. All right, Josh.
Let's get rid of D touchdowns and just go with bench touchdowns.
No. It's already been decided. D touchdowns is first. Josh, looking ahead to some potential blowouts and some potential nail biters. Well, you have an interesting matchup. You said your only running back is David Johnson, but you're playing Garrett Flint, aka Henry, gonna give it to you. Well, Henry ain't gonna give it to anyone else for a while. He'll be back maybe week 13, week 14. So, Josh,
that man has a family. He's injured, Gar.
I see.
I'm just kidding,
Josh. Oh God. So I mean, maybe you and Garrett come down to a nail biter. I'll take that as my nail biter. It looks like Brian is playing Derek. Brian's currently projected to lose by 20-ish, 17, 20-ish. I'm sure the lineups aren't right though because it's Tuesday. Looks like T's projected to get blown out the most by Jamie. I'll go ahead and say the blowout's going to be Nikita. I say Nikita's going to blow out Willie. What do you think, Josh?
Yes. Even though Willie's projected more.
Yeah, you just got to listen to your gut sometimes, pal.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pribs blowing out Hammer.
Pribs is still undefeated. We'll talk. I think maybe next week will be we'll dive back into the standings. We'll do a little, second quarter. I guess it'll be past the second quarter at that point, but we'll do another check-in. Fucking Jeremy's 8-0, dude. That's
who's gonna be his Eli Manning in the championship game?
That's a good question. Oh boy, yeah, but no. Shout out to Pribs. We'll talk more.
I'll
about
take
that.
the honors.
You go for it, Josh. Hammer, change your fucking team name, and you'll stop being 1-7. I guarantee it. All right, Josh, let's move on to the very Hidden Oaks original, the very original Medical Minute. This week we're hearing from Dr. Jamie Hammer yet again, and she's talking to us about the big sad. And so without further ado, Jamie, take it away.
Does cold weather make you sad? Does turning the calendar to November bring a tear to your eye? Does the first snowflake make you crawl into your bed and not come out until spring? You could be experiencing seasonal affective disorder. In all seriousness, about 10% of people report feeling some sort of change in their emotions based on the seasons, and about 50% of those who are feeling depressed at baseline. It's most common in people who are around age 20 to 30 and those that live in northern climates, so y'all better listen up because this pretty much describes our lives. It's not really clear why seasonal affective disorder is a thing. There are quite a few hypotheses and none have been proven, but my absolute favorite is called the circadian rhythm shift hypothesis. This says that when the brain is experiencing less daylight, it's making melatonin, or that sleep hormone that you've heard so much about, through more parts of the day. You can imagine if your brain is in full hibernation mode that you're going to be feeling a lot of pressure to participate in your day-to-day life, such as feeling increased appetite, increased weight gain, and fatigue, and then you still have to go about all your daily business. And how does that not make somebody sad or feel some component of seasonal depression? And not only depression, but people can also experience symptoms of bipolar disorder or manic episodes that are based on the seasons as well. Now you're probably wondering, how do we treat it? It all depends on severity. If you have a pretty mild case, you usually start with light therapy or getting one of those $20 to $30 boxes from Amazon that emit a bright light that tell your brain, hey, stop making melatonin. You can use this for 20 or 30 minutes a day while you're eating breakfast, or you can have it wake you up with your alarm clock, pretending like it's the dawn. It's also said that if you exercise and get more serotonin exposure, that you can overcome the effect of melatonin. For more severe cases, meaning those that last longer than just the seasons, or those that have more severe symptoms, we suggest medications. And these are the serotonin medications that we use for all sorts of depression. And we also suggest adding on therapy at any point in this process if you feel like you could use any sort of tips to make yourself be your best self. Thank you guys so much for requesting seasonal affective disorder as a topic. Please hit me up in the Discord if you have anything else you would love to hear from Dr. Hammer. Otherwise, it's been great chatting with you. Have a great day, guys.
No, you have a great day, Dr. Jamie Hammer. Josh, you, I think I've mentioned it a couple times on the pod already, or maybe we talk about it on Xbox or something, but do you ever feel like you've come down with a case of the big sad or the seasonal affective disorder? Do you feel like the winter ever gets you down?
Occasionally. Mostly because I realize that as winter comes and goes or progresses, it just means football season's almost over and I don't get to listen to you every Tuesday.
Aw, babe.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, there's less sunlight, so you're getting less of that. Your body wants to sleep more because it's dark more. I mean, I won't speak for everyone, Josh. I know you've worked out pretty regularly your whole life. But there's some of us fat, lazy fucks out there who, when it starts to get cold outside, you just kind of stay inside and don't fucking move your body for, 17 hours straight. Just kind of the way she goes. You get the piss Gatorade bottle and you get the shit bucket and you just sit there and play Xbox, the way God intended. But, I mean, what about any family members? You've been living with Nikita for a while. I mean, I'm sure you guys, are accountability buddies and sort of staying active and staying ahead of the big blues. But, I don't know, mom, dad, cousins, uncles, anyone out there who you've seen the big sad take them down?
Nah, not that I've noticed, at least.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely... Well, go ahead.
It's definitely out there, though. It's.
I mean, yeah. I don't think anyone was going to discredit it. But no, I mean, I can see it hit my mom a bit. My mom is noticeably different from, like, let's say, an Easter to Thanksgiving. She's definitely kind of two different people, so to speak. I can see it in, probably not my dad so much, but definitely in myself. I noticed last year I got hit by the SAD myself, so I've been trying to be very conscious of that. I've got a Post-it note. I got a Post-it note on my mirror in my bathroom that just says "Don't be sad," and so I solved it. I don't need no
Thanks,
fucking
Ron Swanson.
I don't need no fucking medical degree. No, but I did notice. I'm sure COVID was part of it, and all these other things that were going on in the world last year that were part of it as well. But I definitely, once the spring hit, I could tell there was. I had a bad winter. I could only tell looking back, though I didn't know in the moment. So all you need is one Post-it note that says "Don't be sad," and you've got it fixed, folks. Don't buy no $20 to $30 light box. Jamie out here scamming people. No, but seriously, thanks, Doc.
What's your cut, Jamie?
She's got an affiliate link. That's how she gets all these student loans paid off. But thank you, Dr. Jamie Hammer. Don't forget, if you guys ever want to hear about a certain medical topic or phenomenon, Josh, maybe you could talk about. Maybe you could request how to get babies to stop pooping. I'm sure Jamie would love that. I've heard Jamie talk often about.
Super glue.
Maybe. Do you think Jamie steals a bunch of super glue? Because she just had a kid not too long ago as well. Do you think she steals a bunch of medical grade super glue from the hospital she works at?
Definitely.
All right, but no, hit up the Medical Minute channel in the Discord, and Dr. Jamie Hammer will potentially pick up your piece. Let's move on, Josh, to the fan favorite. We're talking about the Fave Favre. This is what everyone wants, and I knew this episode was going to be a good one. We've got four fan submissions already. This week's topic is hottest actresses, and there's a bunch of horn dogs out there. I know last year when we did the hottest actors, I think that was one of our best Fave Favres of all time. I think we had, 7, 8 entries. I mean, Donnie made a fucking appearance, so... definitely there's some horny people in the world, whether you're looking at guys, whether you're looking at girls, whether you're looking at anything in between. There's a lot of horny individuals out there. So let's hop right into it, Josh. We got the Fave Favre hottest actresses. Jack got his in during the show, so shout out to Jack. But let's see what his Fave Favre was.
Yellow. Jack of all trades here, coming back again. I've been MIA for a little while, but I wanted to hop in for this Fave Favre here. Hottest actresses. Honorable mention, I'm going to toss in to Megan Fox because I'm sure she'll be on some people's lists. She is very attractive. Just somewhat seems a little gross to me, especially with the old MGK pair up. Number 5 coming in, I've got Kristen Bell. She's been a huge celebrity crush of mine forever. I just think she's adorable. Love her and everything she's in. Number 3, Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory, or if some of you have seen Flight Attendant news show, I think she is remarkable to say the least. Number 2, another one of my big crushes forever, Scarlett Johansson. Love the personality as well. I just think she's amazing. And number 1 by far, not even close, Alexandra Daddario. For those of you that don't know, look her up. She is just mwah.
Jack for sure is not allowed within 100 yards of a playground. We know that, right? Like, that's 100% verified.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's where he called from on his walkie-talkie there. So,
Josh. Holy fuck. Okay. And then he just puts in the chat, or Chuck E. Cheese. No, but thank you for your Fave Favre, hottest actresses, Jack. I mean, to me, Kristen Bell, I think, is underrated for sure. She seems to have a great relationship with Dax Shepard as well. They seem to be one of my favorite Hollywood couples. Who do you think's the hottest on Jack's list, Josh?
I mean, yeah, Kristen Bell is up there. I kind of lost. So at that point, I was already trying to think of my walkie-talkie joke. So I lost 3 and 2. But I did hear the Alexandra Daddario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that name on there, and I don't know. I've never seen. I know who she is, but I've never seen anything she's in, so she didn't make my list.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's keep her moving here. There's some more horny people out there. I don't even want to say what I'm thinking right now, but Jesse, I knew this is one he'd have to call in for, so let's hear Jesse's Fave Favre hottest actresses.
Bunch of tractors.
Hi, this is Jesse Morissette calling with my Fave Favre hottest actresses. On number 4 on my list, I have Lacey Chabert. She plays in Mean Girls, and she has a minor role in Daddy Daycare. She's just really beautiful, brown hair, kind of like that. Number 3 is Shailene Woodley. She's the main character of the Divergent trilogy. Short hair, kind of blonde, depending on the movie. Beautiful. Number 2 is a very unknown name. It's Yanti Sommer. She plays as the main love interest in the movie Trinity Is Still My Name in 1971. Just beautiful blue eyes. Gorgeous. And number 1 is a very unknown name, but very popular face, Milana Vamprup. She plays as the AT&T actress in the commercials. Just beautiful. Need I say more? Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I feel very confident if Bradley had called in, that AT&T girl would have definitely made Bradley's Fave Favre as well. Anything from Jesse stand out to you, Josh?
No, just I mean, I don't know. Maybe we sound like this too, but Jack said that his was a can of soup and string. That's what he called in on. I'm thinking that if that's what Jack called in, Jesse forgot to take the soup out of his can because that was woof.
I mean, Jesse was probably doing the old Bluetooth, he was driving home or something. I will say, though, I feel like I always want to acknowledge this on the show, and I never do. The people who do listen live, they listen to a much more lower quality audio than the people who listen to the MP3 later. So some of you regular audio listeners, whether it's Brian or an Al, I'm pretty sure Al listens to the Spotify version later. But if you don't listen live, there's definitely a audio quality difference. So we really appreciate those who do show up live because we don't sound, not that I put a lot of effort into how good we sound, but we definitely sound worse just because Discord throttles what our audio quality can be. So yeah, I will shout out that. But Jesse and Jack, that's all their fault. Definitely has nothing to do with us. Yep, we'll move on. Sure. We'll move on, though. Thank you, Jesse, for calling in. We'll move on to Al. Al loves to call in on Monday nights. Let's see if he thought anyone was a fraud from last night's game and what his Fave Favre hottest actresses are.
What's up, guys? Audio Al here, coming at you live with my fave Deshaun Watsons of hottest actresses. I'm looking at my fantasy team here. All my teams are frauds. Changed my mind. Garlic, you should know this. Top 4 hottest actresses. This is a really hard list to come up with, I tell you what. I'll go with number 4, Erin Moriarty. I don't even know how to say her last name.
Moriarty.
She's the blonde chick from The Boys. Number 3, Jennifer Lawrence. She's got some spicy picks out there. Number 2, we'll go with Margot Robbie. It's a tough one to beat, but number 1 all time, Blake Lively. She's hot. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, Aaron Moriarty, the Starlight from The Boys, is what Al was going for there with his number 4, I believe. So,
got a lot of blondes on that list, Al.
I mean, does he have a type? What are you trying to say here, Josh?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think that'll spoil any of your Fave Favre. Josh, how do you feel about Aaron Moriarty? Definitely a newer actress on the scene. Definitely came out with Boys.
Yeah, I mean, how dare you? I think she was in a CCR music video, so she's been around.
CCR?
Well, I know that, what's his name? Heae has been in a CCR music video.
God damn, is Heae older than I think?
At least I think it was CCR. Anyways, yeah, I have respect for his list. Good job, Al.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited for the next individuals, actually, so I'm really looking forward to this. I need to know what they had on the stone tablets back then.
Yeah, I mean, and just I'll say on Al's list, Blake Lively is absolutely all time. I mean, it's undeniable. What a fox. But yeah, we I thought Carl Bear was going to come in with a great list. He talked about he was going to hit some vintage cougars out there, some fine wines, some aged cheeses. But Brian, he's what is Brian? Fucking 78 years old as dirt. He was there in instructing everyone else what to do. But let's hear what Brian's Fave Favre hottest actresses are. Do you think Sophia... Oh, here, I don't want to spoil this, but do you think like Marilyn Monroe or Sophia Loren make his list? He's obviously not that old, but...
Well, I think that all his Fave Favre is just going to be the Golden Girls, isn't it?
It could be. Let's find out.
Hi, this is Brian with my Fave Favre for the week hottest actresses. Trying not to be a creepy old man here by picking people in their 20s, so I'm going a little older school. Number 4, Kaylee Cuoco, who I think is very pretty, has a nice bod, and she makes me laugh, which I think is important to be hot. You have to make me laugh. Number 3, Sandra Bullock, just a cutie pie. Again, she can be really funny and makes me laugh. Number 2, Penelope Cruz. Doesn't make me laugh, but rocks it. And my number 1 hottest actress is Alexandra Daddario. And not for the reasons that you guys are thinking, get your mind out of the gutter. Not only does she have those assets, but she has got the most pretty eyes I have ever seen. That's my list.
Someone hasn't seen Randall Cobb. Have you seen his eyes?
Are Jack and Brian the same person? Would they have 2 of the same people? I don't remember their full list, honestly. But Kaylee Cuoco and Alexandria Daddario were on both lists. Are they the same person?
Yep.
Is that more of an insult to Jack or to Brian?
I'll plead the 5th.
Josh feels strongly both ways. Okay, well, shout out to our Fave Favre people who called in this week. We had Jack, Jesse, Al, and Brian. We appreciate all 3 of you calling in. And my phone, I haven't looked at my phone in a while. Sometimes people call in late. I'll just refresh the page real quick to make sure. Nope, Jack was the last one to get in. So thank you to our Fave Favre caller inners that also happen to be the Fave Favre people listening live right now. So imagine that.
Thank you.
Josh, we've got our own Fave Favre list coming up here. Obviously, you've been happily with Nikita for some time, but it would be a lie, I assume, if you didn't appreciate other females in the world. What were you thinking about when you made your list, or did Nikita have to sit over your shoulder to make sure you didn't embarrass the family?
No, she didn't have to do that. But yeah, no, I was just thinking about voice actresses and which ones I think would look the best. So I just went by that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, at the end of the day, for me, I just picked 4 names. I don't think I could have, I assume if you asked me 4 times, I would have given you 4 completely different lists. There's no way I was going to be all-encompassing. There's many, many beautiful women in the world. So I don't know. I just kind of picked 4, honestly. And part of it was how familiar I am with them. Part of it was how they look, obviously. Part of it was, I don't know. I just had to pick at some point. So otherwise I would have thought about it too long. And this is just a fun bit. So would you like
she left the room. I can give you my real reason. Excellent. So I have a 75-page single-space Word document in which I started a ranking system back in June of 2013.
Yep.
I have been secretly collaborating with a lot of different inside sources, Caramel Bear, on this ranking system, and that's how I derived my Fave Favre from my Fave Favre Fave 50s. So we're gonna go ahead and it's gonna be an all-encompassing list. Go on, Gar.
Excellent. Well, I mean, it sounds like since you put so much effort in, you would like the walk-off shot this week, right?
We're keeping with the every other. So who had it last week?
Josh, I really don't fucking know, pal.
Okay, so I'll take it this week.
All right, excellent. I'll start then. I mean, I have a long list of honorable mentions because, again, I've been single for 27 years and I don't have a lot in life. So, I mean, honorable mentions: Emma Watson, Emma Stone, Kate Upton, Kate Mara, Brie Larson, Margot Robbie, Elizabeth Olsen, Erin Moriarty, Olivia Wilde, Selma Hayek, Haley Atwell, Denise Richards, Megan Fox, and Scarlett Johansson. All are worldies, but they didn't crack Gar's Fave Favre. Coming in at number 5 for me, I don't think Carmel Bear would listen to this unless he listened live, but I had to put this person in my Fave Favre just because how much I've texted Carmel Bear about her. This is Julia Fox, known for her role as whatever the fuck her character's name is in Uncut Gems, the recent Adam Sandler movie. Julia Fox is an absolute worldie. To sound very creepy for a second, we make jokes these days about women who need commercial driver's licenses, CDLs, to operate their dump truck. Julia Fox, in fact, needs 2 CDLs, one for each cheek. It's pretty impressive. So if you just Google Julia Fox, you see what I'm talking about. But that's my number 5 hottest actress. Josh, what do you got for number 3? Or for your number 5, excuse me.
Yeah, so I'll start off with my list of honorable mentions, and I'll try not to double up on ones that you said because I agreed with a lot of yours, but I had Heather Graham, Elizabeth Banks, Anna Kendrick, Jessica Biel, Rose Leslie, Amelia Clark, Gal Gadot, Jamie Alexander, and Summer Glau.
Excellent.
Moving on to my number 5, Fave Favre. I've got somebody. I'm actually going to go out there on a limb and say that you've never heard of any of these people on my Fave Favre.
Okay.
But number 5, I have Frida Gustafsson.
That's a made-up name.
She was in Witcher. She played Ma. So not necessarily a main character in Witcher, but she's also in the upcoming Vikings. Kind of not reboot, but seasons. So Frida Gustafsson.
Excellent. Well, look out for her if you're out there watching that show. My number 3, she's literally an all-timer. I don't think I've heard her name mentioned yet, which is very disappointing to me. People who aren't mentioning her are literally lying to themselves. Angelina Jolie is my number 3. She's been rocking it since, I guess I don't know how fucking actual old she is, but however old she is, she's a Fox now. She's been a Fox for my entire lifetime, so that's a good 27 years she's been killing it. And I'm sure she was killing it before I was around, so Angelina Jolie, she was great. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith is really kind of how I got introduced into her. Tomb Raider was good. She's just an all-timer. Angelina Jolie, my number 3.
I'm going to go ahead and go on number 3, Alyssa Sutherland. She is an actress in TV shows. Vikings, more specifically. A lot of my characters are from Vikings. That was I like that show. It was more recency bias, I guess. But I did go through, look at a lot of them, and yes, Alyssa Sutherland.
I mean, you did say your list was extremely comprehensive, so I mean, I can only trust you, Josh. And you love these shows where you can just sit there and it's basically softcore and sometimes hardcore porn that you're watching on TV with all the different shows you watch. So I'm sure you're an expert on these women's bodies by now. My number 2, I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with how Audio Al put this person so high. Definitely was in contention for number 1. There's no question about it, but ultimately I didn't put him number 1. My number 2 hottest actress would be Blake Lively. Just absolutely incredible. The personality is glowing. Her and Ryan Reynolds are great. Obviously, kicking bod, face is incredible. She can be cute and she can do sexy. She's got all the different facets. Blake Lively, my number 2. Josh?
I actually might have mentioned it in my honorable mentions on accident, but my number 2, for multiple reasons, Allegra Edwards. She is in the TV show Upload. So obviously, attractive actress, but also Allegra helps with keeping me from getting allergies, and that is a bonus.
Multifaceted Allegra. So, I mean, if when Nikita inevitably leaves you, maybe you can shoot into Allegra's Instagram DMs and just see how she's doing, Tell her you need to refill that prescription. My number one, Josh, she's been great in a lot of things she does. I couldn't even describe to you why she's my number one, because I mean, I would think obviously all these women are going to be conventionally attractive. If you're an actress, you just kind of have that pretty privilege, but also you're talented to make it onto some of these big screens as well. But I couldn't even explain to you why this person got the number one over Blake Lively. But my number one, we're going with Natalie Portman. I don't know if it was watching the Star Wars movies as a kid that did it for me. I don't know if it's what she's done since that does it for me. Obviously, she was in the Thor movies as well. But man, Natalie Portman, she gets it. She gets it. And I feel like she gets me. I feel like we've built a bond through me watching her through large TV screen all these years. We're basically inseparable, and I'm going to ask for her hand in marriage and maybe probably the next year or so. But no, Natalie Portman, my number one. What do you got, Josh?
Ellen Page. No, I'm just kidding.
Donnie Morissette.
Hang on here.
She's
what
been
movie is she in?
She's starred in a couple family films, if you know what I mean.
Oh, jeez. This one definitely, the name is what got me. Sophia Loch Ness. That is not a made-up name.
That's fucking made up as shit, Josh.
It is not. She played a minor character in The Last Kingdom. Not a minor character. She was kind of a big deal, but she definitely had some of the better on-camera kills, which is, just an added bonus. You need somebody that can defend themselves. Everybody on my list has actually had a few kills, so there's good for that. And so Sophia Loch Ness, long hair version. So if you are searching for the pick, longer hair, not the short hair style that she had. But anyways, yeah, that is my number one. Go ahead, look her up.
Josh,
private time.
Josh, I'll be honest. I'm surprised that I didn't hear, for how many times you've watched Spartacus, I'm surprised I didn't hear a single Spartacus character in your Fave Favre. I mean, you were obviously a big Game of Thrones fan for a long time, and just the 8th season doesn't make one of the women in that show unattractive. I'm surprised one of those
the fact that they agreed to it,
Let's say no one who is in that season could be attractive. Is that what it is?
Yeah. No, I had them in my honorable mentions. It's just, it's like I said, that recency bias. We could probably do this list again 2 weeks from now, and I'd have an entire different one.
Sure.
But yeah, overall, probably. Spartacus had some decent ones, but they were a little bit not. I don't want to say homely, but the majority of the characters in that show were dudes. So.
Dudes. Yeah. All right, well, I will. We got to get out of here pretty quick, Josh, but I will say the topic for next week, this was a fan submission in the Discord this year, and maybe there have been some other ones as well, but this one was one that stood out to me. The topic for next week in the Fave Favre is favorite 90s technology, so big shout out to Audio Al for suggesting that one. I think that's a fun one, and we don't need to be super strict about it. I mean, technology, usually when it's invented versus when it really takes off in pop culture, so to speak, it can be, it can take some time. So if it was invented like 88, 89, but didn't become popular until 94. I mean, no big fucking deal in my eyes, unless Josh wants to really hard in between the 90s and 99. But favorite 90s technology will be the topic for next week. Don't forget to call in with the voicemails if you'd like a shot at our swag basket raffle. It doesn't have to be a Fave Favre voicemail. Burt McStuffins, who called in as a senior correspondent, they got a raffle entry this week for calling in. Jesse out there, you haven't called in with a station identification yet, so if you want to leave one of those, that's worth 4 entries. You other 3 live listeners, Brian, Alan, Jack, you've already done that, so you've already got your free 4 entries from that. But next week, Fave Favre is favorite 90s technology. Josh, you're a dad. You're going to say go Packers when I ask you if you have any final words. You can join our Discord, kids, anchor.fm/hoodpod for all those voicemails I was just talking about, or hiddenokesoverdose.com, or hiddenokesoverdose@gmail.com for the emails. Hiddenokesoverdose.com is a place you can check out our league. Josh, say bye to the folks.
Go Pack. Bye, folks. Did you see I put the Loch Ness Monster in the chat?
I mean, you had to give it Tree Fitty to show up?
Nope.
I will say, I meant to say this during the show, but I was trying to get out of here because I've been trying to keep us under an hour. If Nikita wants to call in with the Fave Favre, I'll play her Fave Favre hottest actresses next week. If she cares about such a thing, I'll reach out to Jamie too. So we had a lot of guys talk about the actresses. I'd love to hear what the girls have to say about the actresses. So if Nikita wants to post show, I'll play it next week. You can let her know.
Yeah.
Great, and now we're fucking 15 seconds over, so we're gonna have to go find 15 seconds of content to cut Josh. God damn it.